5, 4, 3, 2,
1.
Good
morning. Hey, that was really cool. Like, we could have did a song out of it.
Today is Tuesday night for us, Wednesday morning for you guys. So those of you that are regulars knows what that means. That means Bible study tonight, 7 o'clock. It's the only time you can be interactive with us because we pre-record these devotionals. And Sunday sermon, I'm on the stage preaching, so I can't be interactive with you. So Wednesday from 7 to 8, we do a Bible study, a 1-hour Bible study every single Wednesday at 7 California time. And you can ask questions, you can be involved, you can leave a comment, and we're all interactive. So it's pretty cool. We do it at the church. We didn't do it here. Another thing is, it's kind of weird, man, but you would think this is the main thing on the channel is that somebody has merchandise or whatever, you should talk about it on every single video. But we always forget to talk about it. I don't know why. We just forget.
I know.
But I did want to show you guys a couple things. I wrote a book before I went to prison when I was still in the music industry, and I re-released it, Mr. My Confusion. And this is available in paperback, ebook, and Audible. If you go to Audible, I'm the one actually narrating my own book. But you can get this book on Amazon. Where else? Kindle, all of them, every single platform, every platform.
Kindle, Walmart, everywhere.
If you want a signed copy, though, you have to order it from me. And you could just, I'll put an email right now if that's something you're interested in. But when I got out of prison, guys, I wrote my testimony. When did I release this? A year ago? A little over a year ago?
Over a year ago.
Yeah, it's called Lost in the Storm. And this is my testimony. I wrote this in prison. Obviously, my writing skills got better, so I restructured it. But when I got out of prison, I had 220 handwritten pages that I wrote while I was in solitary. Yeah. So this is called Lost in the Storm, guys. And this is also available on all those platforms. But if you order them directly from me, you can have a signed copy. But, you can get it anywhere. That's it, because I'm just like, man, it's crazy because I never talk about these things. Like, there's people that were surprised that I even do paintings.
I know.
And which is weird because that's how I make a living.
Yeah.
I actually learned how to paint in federal prison, from portraits to animals to landscapes and stuff. So there's actually two galleries that carry my art. One here in Stockton called the Galleria, and then the Wild Rose in Jamestown. And then I mail stuff out too. People,
it was so funny because one of the sisters, somebody that she doesn't even really, she's one of my friends actually on Facebook. She messaged me and she took a picture of your whole side of the gallery.
My display? Of
your whole display in Jamestown. And she says, look what I ran into.
Oh, she didn't know.
She didn't know.
Does she know I painted?
And well, I'm sure she sees your stuff, on my Facebook whenever I post things. But she sent me a picture and she goes, look what I ran into over here. And she took a picture, she sent it to me. So she was asking for, the price on one of your paintings and stuff. I know that Rose wasn't there that day. I think it was just her husband, so she probably didn't ask him. But she did want to know, and it was just cool, though, the fact that somebody just didn't even know that your art was in any gallery or anything, and she just happened to go into the Wild Rose, and she saw your display up there.
Yeah.
And she took a picture while she was there, and she sent it to me.
Cool. Yeah, I guess because I was thinking about it, I'm just like, man, I don't ever even talk about my art that I do. Because what I do is I paint an original piece, and then I get limited edition prints, custom prints. They're called G-clays. Out of that print, sometimes it's only 10. Yeah. Sometimes it's 25. Sometimes it's 50 prints, and that's it. They come with like a certificate of authenticity, and they're signed. And boom, once they're gone, and that's it. Nothing else. So I do art. I have my books, and
then we have our identified line too, guys.
Yeah.
identified. It's the Romans 6:8. It's identified. Which for us, it's who we are in Christ. And we definitely love to push our identified line, because it's our identity in Christ, and and that's something that we came up with. I'm gonna say maybe about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
close to 3 years ago. It's something that was placed in my heart 3 years ago, and I told David, I want you to create, something with Romans 6:8, and that's exactly what we did. And he helped me create Identified, and we have our shirts. Every one of our shirts has our trademark, which is our cross in the back on the top. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the times, if you see a cross on the top, right on the neck area, those are our shirts. So, it's pretty cool, guys. We have a lot of our different types of shirts that we have, different logos, and
So to make it really easy, it's like this. When I have to ship it, it's $25. The hats are $25, the shirts are $25, the books are $25 if I have to ship it. But we also have a little display at the church, and then it's $20 because I don't have to ship it. The hats, the shirts, the books. So it just makes it real easy. So anyways, if that's something you're interested in, also on our website, we have a lot of our stuff at www.houseofrestchurch.com. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, because I always forget to talk about it, we were going to dive into some scripture, right?
Yes. We're going to go into Job today.
Okay. We are going to the book of Job.
Yes.
Let's see what we got here. I guess I should have been ready.
Yes, you should have been ready. Got to be ready in and out of season, babe.
So you were saying, you said...
Are you going to set the stage?
I don't know. Depends.
Well,
where are we
this
at?
This is pretty much when his
at?
buddies, Job 4, 1 through, we're going to do 1 through 6.
1 through 6?
Yes.
All right.
So this is when his friends end up showing up.
Yeah, I'll set the stage after because I need to see what we're reading here.
Okay. So David reads out of the New King James, and I'll be reading out of the Message.
4:6 through 8, right?
Mm-hmm. This is when Eliphaz from Teman speaks up to Job.
Okay. So this is a question he's asking. He says, "Is not your reverence your confidence, and the integrity of your ways your hope? Remember now, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the upright ever cut off? Even as I have seen, those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same." Just the 8, right?
Just to 6. 1 to 6.
Oh, 1 to 6.
Yeah, where are you going?
I thought you said 6 through 8.
No, honey, 1 to 6.
Are you sure? If I rewind this, you didn't say 6 through 8?
No, I said 1 to 6.
Okay. Sorry, I was reading the completely wrong verse. And you know what? I'm really glad, because I'm like, how am I going to break this down? It sounds like Shakespeare.
No, 1 to 6.
Okay. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, "If one attempts a word with you, will you become weary? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Surely you have instructed many, and you have strengthened weak hands. Your words have upheld him who was stumbling, and you have strengthened the feeble knees. But now it comes upon you, and you are weary. It touches you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence your confidence, and the integrity of your ways your hope?" Still sounded like Shakespeare. I'm really looking forward to hearing what the Message says right now.
Yes. Then Eliphaz from Teman spoke up. "Would you mind if I said something to you? Under the circumstances, it's hard to keep quiet. You yourself have done this plenty of times, spoken words that clarify. Encourage those who were about to quit. Your words have put stumbling people on their feet, put fresh hope in people about to collapse. But now you're the one in trouble. You're hurting. You've been hit hard and you're reeling from the blow. But shouldn't your devout life give you confidence now? Shouldn't your exemplary life give you hope?
Okay. I remember now. So, it's been a while since I read Job, guys. So, when I was reading it, I got really nervous because I'm like, what is this saying, right? But I remember now as you're reading it, because if you continue reading that chapter, what happened is Job was a man that loved God, worshiped God. He did everything he could to live a righteous life. And there was a meeting in heaven, and Satan was there.
Well, Satan kept coming with the angels every time.
So there's this meeting, there's a conversation between God and Satan. And God's like, well, consider my servant Job. Look at him, basically. And Satan was like, well, of course, you've given him riches, you've given him good health, you've given him a wife and a family. Of course he's never going to curse you, but you take all that stuff away and he will curse you. And basically it became a test. So it's not that God did these things to Job. It's that God allowed these things to happen to Job. So then slowly, first, he basically lost everything. He lost his riches, his animals, his children died, and then he got sick. He got boils all over. So everything, his health, his finances, his family, so in his sickness, he had some friends. And like friends do when one is sick, they go visit him.
Yeah.
And this friend right here that we're talking about is having a conversation with Job. And if we had read the whole chapter, actually, this friend says some interesting things. Before we break this down, he's basically saying to Job, not here, but if you keep reading, he says, are you sure you haven't sinned? Because all this stuff happening to you, surely you have some hidden sin in your life. Something like that, right? But anyways, that's not really the direction we're going here, because we're going to stick to 1 through 4.
Yeah, because on this part, he's actually saying, you're the one that has always encouraged us. You're the one that has always been the one that has spoken life to us and everything. So, like, what's going on? It's almost like if, you have a best friend, and a lot of the times we know you tell your best friend everything, and your best friend, you got your best friend's back and everything. And something, you can tell when something's going on with your best friend, right? Like, you can tell. And like, man, like, what's going on? You've always been so good. You've always trusted me. You've always believed in me. But now that you're going through all of this, why have you changed? What's going on now? Yeah.
Well, I relate it to, like, sometimes, man, I'm trying to figure out how to say this because I don't want anybody to think I'm talking about them, because I'm not. I'm seriously just thinking of a situation. But let's say, man, I'm going to change this. Okay. Completely changing it. Same thing. I'm going to say the same thing, but I just changed the story around. Let's say someone is always encouraging parents that have teenagers. And, this guy's teenager started, drinking a lot. This one started, getting high. This one became very loose and started being with different, guys or girls, depending whatever they are. And so this person always has good counsel, always has something positive to say. And it's always good counsel, but here's the thing, his kids are little. So he gives them advice on his son that's drinking. He's giving this guy's daughter, how to parent, because he has a daughter that's doing drugs. And this other couple, their son or their daughter is just kind of wild, but all of a sudden, a few years pass, and now his kids grow up, and now his kids, and now he's just lost it. And it'd be like those friends saying, you had such good advice for us. Oh, but now that you're in it, now you're ready to just give up? You know, that's kind of like, that's how I see it. Because it says, and here's the friend comes very, very respectful. It says, then Eliphaz spoke up saying, would you mind if I say something to you? Like, it's like this friend was holding it back all this time.
Yeah. Under the circumstance, it's hard to keep quiet.
Yeah, he goes, I can't keep quiet about this, man. It's like, you lost your kids, you lost everything, you know. And then it says this, you yourself have done this plenty of times. You've spoken words that clarify. You've encouraged those who are about to quit. Your words have put stumbling people on their feet. Like, there's times where I was stumbling in my walk, and you gave me a word, and boom, you put me back on my feet. Right? So he's telling this to Job. He goes, you put fresh hope in people that were about to collapse. There's people that had lost all hope, and you came and you spoke to us and you brought hope back. Right? And then it says, but now you're the one in trouble.
You're hurting.
Now you're hurting. You've been hit hard and you're reeling from the blow. Like when somebody gets punched, they're like, oh man. He goes, but shouldn't your devout life give you confidence now? Shouldn't your exemplary life give you hope? So basically, he threw it back in his face.
Like, practice what you preach.
Yeah, he's like, man, every time we were going through things, you helped us. You encouraged us. You lifted us up. But now that you're in trouble, shouldn't your own walk lift you up? What happened? It went dark? Oh.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. But shouldn't your devout life give you confidence now? You know, and this really spoke to us, you know, because, you know, me going through the prison thing, all that was before you guys knew us. Her with the abuse and everything that happened in her childhood and in her teen years, that all happened before us. You almost being homeless, living out of a hotel with the kids, that was before they knew you. All the troubles I've gone through were before you knew me. So one can say, man, Pastor David and Sharon, you know, they preach this, they preach that, but what have they gone through?
Yeah.
And then 2 months ago, boom, you end up in the hospital for 9 days, paralyzed. I don't know what to do. She don't know what to do. While in the hospital, boom, we get COVID. You know, and then it gets real bad leads up to the point where we can't breathe. And here's the thing, right? It was crazy because I would do videos through this tribulation. There was a time where I thought I was going to lose my wife and they were going to put her on a respirator because she couldn't breathe. On the 10th night of having COVID, we couldn't breathe, but she was worse. She was like when you take a fish out of water. Like that. And I said, I need to take you to the ER. And she goes, no, if I'm going to die, let me die home. And then I was like, Sharon, I can't breathe either. And you guys, if you go back to the videos, you can tell I can't breathe. I was trying to do a devotional. I was trying to hide it, but it was hard for me to breathe. So here's the thing, right? Is that you had a chance to see us go through something and not fall apart, not freak out, not cuss out God, not say this Christianity, forget this stuff. You know, we were able to, like he says, shouldn't your devout life give you confidence now? And here's the thing, is that, I'm not a Superman, you ain't a Superwoman, but we know who we are in Christ. We know who lives in us. Yes. We know who's the winner. We know who sits on the throne. We know that God is not shaken. We know these things. And it was during this time, this tribulation, this troubles. And I said, even if we die, to be absent of this body is to be present with the Lord. But Job, you can't blame him. Honestly, I can't blame him because all his children were killed. All of his bank accounts were wiped out. And now he had sores all over his body. So I get it. I'm not putting Job down. You know, man? And even his wife came to the point where she says, you know what? Why don't you just curse God and die? Yeah. And Job's like, no. I can't curse my God. You know, and this is where we need to be, guys. Everything you say, when things are good, you better hold it fast and let it put some wind in your sails when it ain't good. I
think there was a point when I was reading this today. I told you I wanted that to be what we were going to speak about at one point. But then I was continuing to read when I was reading the Word this morning earlier as we were going to my doctor's appointment. You know, I said, no, I want to talk about this because that's an important topic too, because I think a lot of the times, you know, we as women have such a big impact on our husbands. I think a lot of the time as spouses, our words weigh heavy on our spouses, and a lot of the times we can have that big effect on our husband and wife. And it's unfortunate that sometimes a husband and a wife can actually become a god to each other. You know, and that's kind of sad because, you know, when that happens, then that's where the enemy can come in and begin to destroy a marriage, because you no longer have God here, but instead now you have actually placed your spouse in place of where God should be. And that's a very, very not a good place to put your spouse. You got to remember that God comes before your spouse, because without the Lord being above, then how can we love our spouse? How can we have a strong marriage, a strong unity, you know, in our marriage? And I think that's so important. But that was something that I wanted to speak to you about, because, you know, that exactly what you just talked about. Yeah,
it's key and it's important. Okay, I'll say it like this, and you might think I'm going way off, but trust me, I'm gonna bring this thing right around. The Rocky movie. Rocky IV, when he went to Russia, his wife was against him fighting. Apollo Creed had just died, because the if you die, he dies. You know what I mean? That whole thing, and the big Russian killed his best friend. And now Rocky says, you know what? I gotta avenge him. Adrian got mad, and then the Russian says, since I came and fought in America, you need to fight me in Russia. So the wife, Adrian, was super mad, really angry. So Rocky left without the blessings of his wife. And it showed him there, he's training, and he's trying to get ready, but he didn't have that oomph. And one day, as you guys will know the movie, because if you haven't seen Rocky IV, you're not my friend. So watch it if you haven't seen it. And you guys know the scene, guys, especially guys. You guys are going to understand this. On the workouts, he had no oomph. And one day he comes back. He's in the middle of a cabin, all snowy, in the middle of nowhere. He comes from his run, and he sees his wife on the porch. And she basically is like, you're going to win this. And all of a sudden, dun, 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 and he just shows him, guys, you guys know, and wives, you need to know, whether you realize it or not, having the blessing of your wife, or wife, having your blessing, you understand, he will conquer armies.
Yes.
If he knows that you're behind him.
Absolutely.
He will conquer and dismantle demonic strongholds. So that's why the enemy comes to, if he can't get to the man, he'll get in the woman's head.
Yes.
And tear him down.
Through you.
Yeah. Because the enemy knows that by you supporting him, he will rise to the top. And I think that goes both ways too.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Us men, we are built that way. That's why I think Rocky...
and a man is the head of the household.
Has such an impact.
Yeah.
Because there's something about the way Rocky would... Sylvester Stallone would write scripts, that he knew how to tap into that, where we're just like, yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You know? And that's at the core of it, you know? So it's like there's times, guys, where I've been doing a painting and I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. You know, there's times preaching. There's times of something I'm going to do with ministry. There's times, you know, that like I feel like deflated.
And guess what I come out and do, guys? I come out and I'll be like, nope, that's not good enough. You can do better than that. And he'll be like, no, I'm done. I'm like, no, there's more in you. And I tell him, and sometimes I'm kind of just a little hard, and I'm like, no, there's more in you. There's more that needs to come out of you, and I know it's in you. Mm-hmm. And you know what? He'll step back for a moment, and he'll just look at me like, seriously? Like, and there's more in you, David.
And then, dun, 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 dun.
And let me tell you guys, you know, this man does something, and I come back out, and I'd be like, see?
You know,
told you.
I know, maybe, and many of you don't know this, but before the pandemic, when we met, we were cycling with their bicycles for the first, what, years? How many years? Because I was already cycling 1.5 years when I met you, right? And then I had surgery.
So for like 2 years.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I was cycling for 1.5 years. I met you, instantly had to have surgery, and that laid me out for another year. And then cycling all over again.
For 3 years.
And we would go on some trails, man. Some bike trails. 20 miles, 30 miles, 50 miles. You know, and I'm heavier than Sharon, you know? And there's times, like, I didn't have it in me anymore. Like, I'll tell you one specific time. We're going to do a 50-mile trail. And I've shared this on earlier videos, you know, but what's it called? Iron Horse Trail? Mm-hmm. Iron Horse Trail. We did it with Gabe and Patty, an amazing couple. And it was 50 miles, 25 one way, 25 back. We did the 25, fine. We had lunch at the end. But yeah, we did it halfway. Now let's just go back. And on the way back, I lost wind. Like my legs, I was just tired. And Patty and Gabe kept going further and further and further. And then Sharon was going further and further. And finally, I found a bench in the shade and I just stopped. I'm like, I can't do this. You know, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then what happened? Did you notice I was nowhere to be seen, or what happened?
Yeah, I look back. I'm like, where's my husband? You know, I was like miles out, guys. I was already several miles out, and I could no longer walkie-talkie him.
We had walkie-talkies. And they had gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Nope. Turned myself around.
I think she found me on the bench.
I hustled and bustled back, and I said, what's that? You know, and
I said, I can't.
He says, I can't. I said, yeah, you can. He said, no, I can't. I said, yes, you can. I go a little bit at a time. Let's go. And I went slow, and you went slow with me. Yep. And you know what? We actually finished. We finished those 50 miles. We have a picture of
Gabe, Patty and Gabe were waiting at the finish line, and they took a picture of us. And here's the thing is that we did it together, and she went back for me. And I did it, and I was going to call an Uber. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't do this, you know? So, we had actually tried that trail together almost a year prior to that. And we did call an Uber, actually. Mm-hmm. He had to call an Uber, and I stayed after, I think, 28 miles. I think we stopped at almost 30 miles. Yeah. And at 30 miles, we can no longer go. And I stayed with the bikes, and he got an Uber to go to the truck to bring it back. Yeah. And he came back, and we ended up, the rest, we couldn't do it no more. So we almost stopped at 30 miles. Do you have the picture when we crossed the 50 miles? Mm-hmm. So guys, when we say we cycle, I mean, we're talking some serious mileage. You know, 30 miles, 35 miles, 50 miles. That was the most I've ever done. Well, that's serious for us, guys, because there's people that really do serious stuff. Yeah, but I mean, I think the average person thinks like, oh, they went around the block a few times. No, we're talking miles, you know? And but yeah, man, I'm speaking to wives right now, you know, to women. You have more power and influence than you realize. Yeah. You do. Because, you know, if there's 50 people telling that man he can't, you will actually overpower all those 50 people by saying, yeah, you can.
Yes.
Forget those people. Yeah, you can. And that's just the way it is. You know, I'm just speaking as a man, as a husband, you know. I will go through a brick wall if she tells me I can do it. You know, like the Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. You know, so that's just the way it is, guys. I think we probably went off topic, but it's all right. Maybe some of you needed to hear that story of the cycling, which is really cool because as you're watching this video, I'm actually going to start cycling again. I feel better from COVID, and we actually have a bike. What do you call it?
A bike group.
Yeah, bike.
Church bike
We're going to do our first bike group since before COVID. You know, so I got to get my lungs ready. So I'm actually going to be riding my bike every day from now on. But yeah, I mean, Sharon's still recovering. She went to a doctor today, and so we're still trying to figure out what happened. And so she's not going to ride yet.
Yeah, I'm getting answers though, guys.
Yeah.
You know,
so,
the doctor did really, really good in giving me some answers today.
Yeah, but I trust that the day will come. You know, I need my little partner to ride next to me. It's boring riding without her, you know. But yeah, man, you know, Job, I think his friend started off good. Unfortunately, God got mad at that friend later because later on he basically, after he said all that, he's like, Job, are you sure you haven't sinned? And God came later on and rebuked all the friends, but that's besides the point. You know? Yeah.
But I you know, I'm glad that we were able to speak about this, you know, and sometimes even in some of the books in the Bible, you'll be able to catch little things where we can, you know, pull stuff out of, you know, and I think it's important that we read everything clearly and just take something out of that and make it relevant to your life, and that's what it's about, you know. As I'm reading, you just want to be like, you know what, that's relevant to me, you know. Make it relevant to you, and let it speak to you, and just say, Lord, how do you make this relevant to me, Lord? Like, can you show me? And the Lord will give it to you, guys. He really will.
You know, if you want people to do something, if you yell at them on how horrible they are or dumb they are, you're basically speaking death into them.
Yeah.
And it's weird how if you speak life, even you know, have you ever had charcoal that's just, it's ash and it's just smoke, but all of a sudden it starts to get hot and red in the center, and out of that you get a flame. It doesn't take much. What I'm trying to say is it doesn't take much to encourage somebody to go further, and they would have done it where you think nagging them is going to help. Nagging them, putting them down, discouraging them, that's not going to help. You know what's going to happen? They're going to do exactly what your words are coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
You know, so just...
And another thing that doesn't help either is enabling people either, guys.
Yeah.
I think that you always have to have a balance in everything that you do. I think communication, open communication, is a good thing, but you got to be very, very careful that you don't overstep your boundaries, that you don't enable somebody, and that you don't speak death into somebody. There has to be a balance in everything that you do with loved ones or with the people in your life, with your spouses, with your children. There used to be this meme where there was a child, and that child had words all over his little face.
Had what?
Words. It was like a meme.
Words.
Yeah, words. And there was a meme, and it was a whole bunch of words coming out of the little brain, and it was like a mother speaking words into that little brain.
Mm-hmm.
And all it was a whole bunch of derogatory and bad words and everything. And it was weird because it was like all the words coming out of the mother into the child.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, and it was a meme that was going around for a long time. And it's like, there's so much truth to that meme, because everything that is spoken out of a parent's mouth, a child will inherit that. They will receive that, and they themselves will speak it out, because that's what they learn.
Yeah.
You know, whatever is spoken at home, whatever they hear, whatever it's brought into here, and it comes out through here. And we have to be really, really careful with that, because they're a reflection of who you are. Your children will reflect what the home gives and what they learn from home, from the parents.
Yeah.
So we have to be very, very careful with that, because you are raising a little human being. And I think it's so, so important, because when we're raising human beings, we want them to be able to speak life and not speak death. And this is a great, great example, because you can see that Job was somebody who spoke life to people, somebody that encouraged and did all of that. And what is so important is that, you know, when they do go through trials and they do go through tribulations, and when they do go through something in life, you know that you're going to be confident enough that they are going to be standing on their own 2 feet. They're going to be confident enough to go through a trial and worship the Lord, and know that they have the foundation to stand on. That is not going to be shaken. It's not going to be stirred. It's not going to be moved. And they're going to be like, you know what, Lord, you know, thank you. Thank you for this trial. Thank you. And I praise you, Lord. And you know what? We're going to get through this. We're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. So let's keep moving forward. And as long as you stay focused on the Lord, you don't look to the right, you don't look to the left, you just keep focused on Him. You just told me that today. You know, stay focused on Him, and we'll just keep walking forward.
Yeah.
You know, because why? You have a foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to end it with that. We'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock Bible study.
Yes.
Every Wednesday night at 7. Interactive Bible study. Hopefully you can join us. And that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye,
Have
guys.
a good day.
We love you guys. Enjoy your coffee.